Is AOL dial-up.
I didn't even realize.
Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out. This is the world's most popular live gay television show. And of course, you know what that means. It's 8 p.m. Wednesday, July 1st, 2020. I'm your host and moderator, Al Ferguson, and welcome, America. We are going to have lots of fun and an entertaining show tonight. So let's begin with Happening Now, right out of the gate in breaking news. Happening Now is going to announce, we've been talking about it all week, a brand new show called Gay Town Hall. And we have one of our many hosts with us that's going to be in It's Happening Out that is a host at Gay Town Hall. In Happening Now, an exciting new announcement, an amazing new digital television show is coming for the LGBTQ community. As I said, it's called Gay Town Hall, advertising you participate in the LGBTQ debate. We have a sneak peek this evening of the opening of the new show that is going to premiere tomorrow, July 2nd at 8 p.m. with one of the hosts, and that is Elimination. Elimination ONYX, and we've prepared this. Watch this. Well, this revolutionary new show is the largest collection of diverse LGBTQ personalities ever assembled. With hosting this show, Q News has already announced 11 of the hosts for Gay Town Hall, and tonight we get to meet Elimination. Elimination is here in South Florida. Ramrod, a very famous leather club that goes to IML as a qualifier, and he was Mr. Ramrod 2018. He is a sex-positive, pansexual leather man and a social justice fighter and a fan of martial arts movies. An interesting combination of all of those things. So Elimination, who is going to be a guest tonight as a guest host at It's Happening Out, will be launching tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Gay Town Hall. Elimination, welcome to It's Happening Out.
Hey there, family, how are you?
We are excited to have you here at It's Happening Out. I love your cap, lid.
My cover.
Cover. I love it. You would think that I would know this by now.
Why?
Elimination, I'm so excited. I have been watching this show announcement for weeks. My friends that have been watching have asked me about it. I keep saying it's like Zoom on steroids. We have introduced all of these personalities to this show, quite a collection of famous and interesting people, and you are going to be part of that as host. Tell us why you decided you wanted to do Gay Town Hall.
Well, hey, Al. First, I want to say I was so excited and honored to be Eyez. Because, as you mentioned, this is like Zoom times 1,000. Because we have the opportunity to not only share our views, but to in real time hear from everyone in our community as well as our great allies. And so, what better way to share opinions, to learn, to be educated than to Gay Town Hall?
Yeah, absolutely. And America, if you haven't seen it, if you're living under a rock and you haven't seen an announcement on this yet, in this collection of hosts, there is a Miccosukee tribal Native American who grew up in the Everglades. There's a drag queen cannabis activist. There is a famous underwear model. There is a feminine lesbian. There is, and I could give you 10 other buckets. And oh wait, there's also this hybrid DJ, diva, whatever. Oh yeah, it's mugging for the camera. Do you identify as it's or they? And of course, one of the sharing host duty with Elimination is Power Infiniti. Power, and you're going to participate in this too. You have something to say that you need to tell America in Gay Town Hall?
I make sure to watch.
Elimination. Have you ever worked with Power before? Did y'all know each other before this gig?
Well, you know, through community, one of the great things about our community is that we have the ability to support each other. As a Leatherman, I would love to support Power with DJ opportunities and just being the powerhouse that Power is.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think is really fascinating, in this great array of personalities, America, you get to participate. So when you participate in the show, a little different than what happens here at our show at It's Happening Out, this is a participation town hall where many, many, many hundreds of people can either talk in the textual string, and your comments from Facebook or your platform, Twitter, whatever it might be, can move right into the screen, and Elimination or Power can comment on them instantly. Or if you're super interesting, you can be brought in from your camera right onto the screen and talk and make your observations. And I'm hoping, America, you do that, because as I watch this show, I want people to come on and just contradict Power Infiniti left and right. That sounds so exciting and fun to me.
At your own risk.
Exactly. It's going to be a fun experiment. Y'all are going to be talking about everything in the LGBT community. For Elimination, who is going to be with us all evening tonight at It's Happening Out, we're very excited to have you. We have a Leatherman partner with you. I was reading that in Gay Town Hall, the current international Mr. Leather is also a host from your community.
Yes, how exciting is that?
I know, Jack Thompson, and he is the first trans person of color ever to win IML. That's amazing. So you two are just going to be amazing in your expression from your community perspective on so many topics that affect the LGBT community. What did you think about when you heard that Jack Thompson was also going to be a host?
Well, you know, it was exciting. You know, Jack and I competed together this year at IML. We both made top 20. Of course, you know, Jack won. But it's so often that the leather community is forgotten about. You know, when people often come out as being LGBTQIA, that leather piece, you know, we have to come out again as being part of that leather community. And so we now have to add that extra voice, that extra perspective, and that extra opinion into this Gay Town Hall. And I'm so excited. And having my brother there right beside me just makes it even more incredible to go through this venture with. So watch out, America.
Well, it's tomorrow night, July 2nd. The premiere is at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is unique and groundbreaking. You haven't seen anything like this in the LGBTQ community before. Power, Elimination, they're going to do an awesome job along with many, many other hosts that are representing. So Elimination, we wish you the best of luck. Power Infiniti, whatever.
I don't need it.
I'm so excited. Yes.
All right, so let's have some fun. Let's move on out of this, and good evening again, America. As I said at the top of the show, you are watching the most popular live gay TV show in the world. So many of your stories and topics we are going to discuss next on It's Happening Out.
This week on It's Happening Out.
President Trump says he won't support any bill that hurts police. He's also ordering U.S. Marshals to work with local police to stand guard around
to the ground as an officer knelt on his neck for more than 8 minutes. His death sparked nationwide protests against racial.
Our new game, Saved by the Bell.
These two guys have come into these areas.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Special guest host, Misty Eyez. With your host, reality TV star, Chef Josie. Trans activist, Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva Power Infiniti. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
Well, we are live. This is a live show, so anything can happen. We're having a thunderstorm here in South Florida, so if we go dark, that's why. It was not that the Secret Service came in and busted our doors down again, Power Infiniti. So we remind you, anything can happen. This is the world's most popular live gay TV show, and we have accomplished that by one of the things that you have helped. You like and share us. Start a watch party tonight for It's Happening Out, and here's an easy way to do it. Watch this. Oh, all right. Well, so we want to encourage you to have a watch party. I told you we were live, right? We're live. All right. So let's dive into the show and let's have some fun tonight. Let's begin with the meme of the week. We always start our show with the meme. It helps us ground us in terms of something that we think is fun. And tonight, I haven't seen this. Our meme of the week is called "When Branding is on Point, Shopping After COVID-19." So let's take a look at the meme of the week. Watch this.
Hey Ted, what's up?
Staples actually sells staples.
Whoa. Where are you going?
Dicks.
That was successful.
Stupid. Can I just say that I posted that on my page, and in all the years that I've been on Facebook, I have never gotten so many likes and so many shares from that post. I must have had like close to like 10,000 shares and like 5,000 likes from that. I've never had as many, Facebook interactions as I've had since that post.
Yeah, Aaron, I was going to come in on you. What do you think about, do you prefer Staples or Dick's?
Definitely a Dick's kind of person, for sure.
All
Only
right.
in this context, clearly.
Right. All right. Let's move out of our meme and play our first game tonight. And our game, as you've gotten used to, America, is called I'd Swallow That. It's a game that we play. It's a drinking game. We play it every week where we ask our hosts a yes or no question. If they agree, they take a shot. And tonight, yes, this is a shot. We have whiskey in front of us. My friends here at the table seem to think it's funny to make sure that I'm inebriated as I do this show.
That's why we do it at the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. And we do it at the top of the show. If they disagree, they don't take the shot. If they do, they take the shot. Everyone have a drink. Power, you ready? Aaron?
I've been drinking if I agree.
You drink if you agree.
Oh, I think you said disagree.
Really? You've...
No, you just said...
We didn't start drinking yet.
You just said if you disagree, you drink. Am I wrong? Did he not just say that?
No, I didn't.
Watch on playback. Watch.
Okay.
Jared.
Play that back.
This is going to be a good night.
Yes, exactly. It's been great. See ya.
We're live.
All right. Let's play I'd Swallow That. Everybody understand the rules. America, get a drink. Play along with us. How would you answer these questions we're getting ready to pose? I'd swallow that. Question number 1. It's 4th of July week. I am proud to be an American, even if I disagree with the government.
Down.
Wait, Aaron, you're taking that shot. Ooh.
Yeah, it's a choose your battles kind of moment.
I'm focusing on you right now. So on balance, you're more American than you are in your criticism about what you're watching in the world from our government.
No, I think they go hand in hand, honestly.
All right.
I'm extremely critical because I'm proud to be an American.
And Power.
Absolutely.
And Power, you are more American. Even if you agree or disagree with Trump, you're still American.
Absolutely. I mean, I just got my citizenship in 2017. I didn't work as hard as I worked and go through what I went through to now hate the country that I've struggled to become a citizen in. So yes, I love America despite Trump.
You know, to all of you, to all of the hosts at It's Happening Out, we're living in perilous times. We were discussing this before. Josie, Chef Josie, by the way, congratulations. Chef Josie is running for mayor of Wilton Manors, the gayest place on planet Earth. We wish her all of the success of that. Politically, running for mayor or any of you, we were just discussing before we came on air of what perilous times we're living in. Is it possible for us as the LGBT community to separate our loathing of many of the things that we're seeing and our leadership, but still loving America? That's possible in the LGBT community?
I think what is really so powerful about it is that we actually are part of a country which allows us a choice. And as you know, as we have seen, unfortunately, choice also put in one of the most disastrous presidents in the history of our country. There's another thing you've done well in the history of our country. But the reality of it is that it's because of the democracy that we are here in the United States, and it's because of what the principles and values that we stand on that allows us to be fully expressed if we choose to be.
Allow me, please, a moment more on this question to rephrase my question in a little bit of a different way. Could we still be loving America, even if we don't like the government, if he wins and we wake up on November 4th, 2020, and he has? Will we still feel this way? Would we still take the shot?
Yes. I can't stand Donald Trump. I can't. I cannot stand everything he stands for. However, if I had a child that was fucking up, if I have a mom and dad that's fucking up, I'm still going to love my parents. I'm still going to love my child, even though I don't care for their actions. I don't care for what they're doing. You can love your country even if you're embarrassed because of its leader. There's a huge difference. And even if, heaven forbid, Russia or China, whoever fixes the election, even if he loses the popular vote but wins the election again, I will still be proud to be an American, even if I'm embarrassed.
Do y'all agree with that?
Yes, I think that to give Trump the, or to give anybody that we oppose in this country, as far as on the other side of the political aisle, the win to take away our love of this country is a victory for them. I mean, if Trump wins, that's bad enough. But if he takes away your love and your patronage for this country, that's another win all in and of itself that is just, it just can't be. So I really feel that we have to hold on to our patriotism and to our love, because these things will pass, but this is the country that we live in, and it's the greatest country on earth.
Final thoughts. I know Power and Elimination we're trying to get in.
So I want to say that yes, we can be disappointed, but then we can still love to be an American, and then that love should make us work harder to hold them accountable, force them to follow the appropriate accountability that are put in place to make sure that our love for our country is upheld. We can still love the country, but not like what's happening. We can love our country and force them to do right by us by continuing to stand up and say, no, enough is enough.
And Aaron, final thought?
That's fair. I don't know. I see myself as a global citizen. And, you know, therapy taught me when it comes to toxic family members, you can love them, but you've got to love them from a distance. So I might have to love America from over in London or something.
If it was easy to move to London, I would have done it already.
You know, it's funny. I have to say this, and I mean this.
Exactly.
I come into the show tonight a little pessimistic of what I'm doing. I do Q News tonight every night, and so I see it front and center every single night. It's pushed in front of me every single night. I have to say, I'm really glad that we've done this first question in I'd Swallow That, because I'm slightly more optimistic that all of you say I'm still committed to the American ideal as we finish this. Honestly, that's how this is washing over me at this moment. Let's continue to question number 2. I'd swallow that. Question 2. This is 4th of July week, I absolutely love fireworks.
Who doesn't love fireworks?
Our pets do not like fireworks.
I was just gonna say, unless it affects my pets.
Okay, and so Aaron, you didn't take the shot because of pets.
No, I didn't take the shot because of me.
Excuse me, Aaron.
Have a seat.
Tell us why you're so un-American that you don't like fireworks.
Oh, come on.
Fireworks.
Listen,
First of all,
the guy with PTSD over here, I'm shaking under the couch like the Chihuahuas do. I don't really need that in my life.
oh, honey.
I'm going to come hug you then on 4th of July now that I know that.
With the mask.
Did you take the shot? I didn't see.
I did not. I did not, because fireworks does not make me less or more of American. Fireworks has nothing to do with American fireworks. It's just an opportunity to throw some stuff in the air, make some loud noises for people to come together and celebrate a country where all men were created equal, that I wasn't.
Let's take a quick flash poll. I don't know if we can put that up, but let's take a quick flash poll of our host. Who's going to fireworks this 4th of July? 4th of July is not everywhere. No, this is national. It's a national show. Who would want to go to fireworks? If you could, would you want to go to fireworks this year, 2020? Who would do that? Say yes. Power?
No.
No. Aaron? Sound. This is a digital television. Sound coming out of your mouth, though. Okay. Misty?
No. I love fireworks, but I am not going to no 4th of July.
Josie?
No, but my sister will be setting some off at her house.
Okay. And Elimination?
No.
100% in our flash poll. No one wants to go to fireworks. Interesting, by the way, I don't know if you've seen the news in New York. I was a special guest. I'm not doing the mic drop like Power does consistently, or Josie does consistently. But I have been invited to Macy's events repeatedly. I have done many big Macy's events for 4th of July. This year, they started the 4th of July fireworks for Macy's on Sunday, and they're doing different locations leading up, so you do not leave your house or neighborhood to see fireworks in New York, in the different boroughs. And exactly the same reason why. This is not the year to gather. All right, let's move on to question number 3. I'd swallow that. Question 3. Another 4th of July question. I love a good rocket burst.
Can we explain that a little more clearly?
No, we can't explain
that sounds fun.
Take the shot or don't take the shot.
I guess, child.
Elimination, do you like a good rocket burst? And I saw you taking the shot, so define what rocket burst means to you.
So, being the leather day that I am, a good rocket burst, and considering I've been in quarantine since March 14th, would be that good old release that happens when I get around people. However, in the 4th of July world, the good old rocket burst signals the ending of the fireworks, and so that's the big spectacular. So who doesn't like a good finish? That's the best thing ever.
Exactly, and I always try to support our host, so let me tell my friends here in South Florida, all of the rumors I've heard about Elimination are true. Kraken, yes. Elimination, true, equal true. All right. Other people, rocket burst, any other comments?
Sign me up.
Why not? I'll try anything twice.
Power.
Sounds fun.
Power,
Do we have to wear masks?
Do you like to receive watching rocket burst, whatever that means?
I love
Did
NASA.
Yeah, we can hear you, but I didn't hear what you said.
I said right in my hiney.
Yes.
I mean, who doesn't like a good, like Elimination said, who doesn't like a good finish?
Excuse me, the lesbian here that's running for mayor of Wilton Manors is... All right, let's move on to our fourth question, and I'd swallow that. I have taken all of the shots, and I just want to let my friends around the table here in Wilton Manors, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the gayest place on planet Earth, let them know that the shots are beginning to work. I'd swallow that. Question number 4. Hot dogs, it's 4th of July coming. Hot dogs are both disgusting and amazing.
Yeah.
You look like the 4th of July. It makes me want a hot dog real bad.
This is innuendo again.
What is this? Is this question?
Sorry. I coughed like a man.
What happened there?
I coughed like a man. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Did the cis woman? Oh my God!
That was a fireburst.
On the hot dog question? Really?
No, on the alcohol in my throat. That shit was fully you from the inside.
All right. There seems to be double meaning to this question of I'd swallow that. They're disgusting and amazing all simultaneously. Anybody want to... Wait, let's start with our lesbian participant, Josie.
She probably has a whole nother take on this.
Oh, I love hot dogs. Are you kidding me? I mean, I like to put, ketchup and mustard and sauerkraut and jalapeno, and sometimes I sprinkle a little hot chili flake on it. I really dress up my hot dogs, and I love them. I don't really need July 4th to inspire me to add hot dogs to the menu, Hell, I was thinking about putting hot dogs on the menu at Bubbles and Pearls. So there you go,
Wow. And by the way, America, AHF has just paid us $100 to remind you. Also on our hot dogs, we love to put condoms. Put condoms on your hot dogs. Other comments? It's both amazing and disgusting. Anyone else?
How they make them are absolutely disgusting.
All beef, honey.
Wait, Aaron, I didn't hear you. Say it again, please.
I said I think regardless of how you interpret hot dogs, it still applies. Disgusting and amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that your reaction, Aaron? They are both disgusting and amazing?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Do I really have to go into the whole toxic question?
Yes. Could you do a 101 for me? I need a little education. Explain to me why.
Yeah, well, we all know you do. It's okay. We'll get around
2 months in Poland, and kielbasas are quite lovely. My husband is Puerto Rican, and I do like a good Puerto Rican sausage as well.
I like to give a good sausage. I mean,
is that like
I've been in quarantine.
Exactly. Elimination goes for the, you like larger sausage than regular hot dogs.
I'm a big girl, honey.
Anybody a Chicago hot dog fan?
Oh, I love Chicago hot dog fan.
12-inch. Chicago.
It's not a competition.
Sprinkled cornichons and celery sauce.
Excuse me. Elimination and Power and Al would say it absolutely is a competition. We like larger hot dogs, don't we?
Oh, I love them full length, bun length, okay? Full bun length. You can't get the little shorties. Those don't work, okay? You got to get the full.
Really hanging off the sides of the bun, really.
Ooh.
Girl, this
Josie, is that a challenge?
Went all the way down to the gutter, girl. He asking about hot dogs and we talking about something
all the way.
Repeat that. I didn't hear you. Say that again.
I said this conversation done went all the way down to the gutter, girl.
Exactly. All right. That is a clue. My overlord, Power Infiniti, told me to move on after I've taken these 4 shots, and I shall. So that's our game. I'd swallow that. We play it every single week. We hope you enjoy it. Now that we've had some drinks, Let's explore some of the big news involving celebrities and entertainment from the last week with our celebrity hot topics. Our first topic that we want to talk about tonight is about NBC's Megyn Kelly and the concept that she was fired for dressing in blackface. A Washington Post staffer, Sue Schaefer, used the event as a Halloween costume and got fired. Point as we talk about the issues that relate to race in America, is there something like this that is okay, it's all right, or is the cancel culture, which is really what we're talking about, effective at dealing with this kind of ignorance, or is there other ways to deal with it? What do y'all think about what we are doing in terms of the cancel culture in America?
Listen, we have to recorrect our direction in which we're moving, okay? It's time. If the folks who are on TV right now and in the positions of power and leadership don't understand the history of the country you're serving and participating in, that's on you, honey, okay? That's on you. You have a platform. I guess you could go and call a QAnon friend or some other conservative ally, and you could be on their network. But if you're going to be on a network that serves the rest of us, okay, then I think that you're going to need to be a little bit more mindful. Sorry.
What do y'all think about the cancel culture that we're watching?
Well, I mean,
in this particular...
Let's start with Power. Power.
Are we talking about cancel culture in general, or are we talking about blackface?
Both.
Just clarify. Okay.
Both things.
Well, first of all, blackface is never going to be okay. Never. There are some instances where, actually, let me take that back. I think there are some instances where blackface can actually be used as a teaching tool or actually in a comedic sense. For example, when I believe that when Robert Downey Jr. played in Tropic Thunder, that to me, as a black person, was actually comedic. And it was comedic because he was playing a character that was insensitive. They were basically making fun. It was a satire, and they were making fun of the insensitivity of his character for playing blackface. That to me is not blackface. But what I see in terms of drag queens now painting in blackface and calling it art, blackfishing, brown face, yellow face, all of it is bad. All of it is bad, and all of it needs to be canceled. But to your question, is cancel culture working, or is there some other way? I think both. You have a carrot and a stick. The carrot being education. We need to educate people. If they don't know the history of blackface, if they don't know the history of racism, we need to educate them so that each one teach one. You know, that's how we get progress and change. But at the same time, if you're going to be a dumbass and continue to do the things that you do, yes, you need to be canceled. That's the stick. So we need to use both tools.
Power challenge that observation a moment to talk about what NBC did this week. An episode of The Golden Girls in the 1990s had a blackface.
Let's talk about it. That's right.
Episode. And at the time, no one understood the impact of what they were doing as it related to racism. For you might correct me in a moment, but let me set it up. That the Golden Girls didn't understand what they were doing, and so as we go back and revisit 25 or 30 years later, the Golden Girls is a situation comedy of a lot of old women that are getting together, and so therefore it never meant really what it meant. And the question is, when we go back, should NBC cancel the broadcast of that episode using blackface, or do we use it as a moment to test and to teach?
No, because first of all, that episode, and I posted on this. Still glad you brought it up. That episode was not blackface. They were not doing blackface. They had on mud masks. It wasn't blackface. And the whole episode, as a matter of fact, was actually quite ahead of its time because they were dealing with an interracial relationship. And what happened in the episode was that the girlfriend's parents of Dorothy came over to the house right when the Golden Girls were doing had mud mask on their face, and they just happened to walk in at the wrong time when the girls had mud masks, but the parents were black. So when the girls came out with mud masks, it looked like, oh, blackface, like, girl, that's how we meeting you. That's the first impression that we have, but it wasn't blackface. So we have to be very careful. Yes, cancel culture does have a place in our society, and it does have a purpose, but we cannot overreach. We cannot be overzealous now and then take social justice warring to a whole new and ridiculous level. Come on now, that's ridiculous. Hulu needs to stop. Hulu canceled that episode. They need to stop this shit.
If I can bring this home for 1 second, when somebody offends me or misgenders me or mistreats me, I have to think about tone and intent. Did they mean to? How did they say it? How did they do it? Does that play into it at all? Or the fact that it happened, period? And now let me explain a little bit of the history. Going back like 200 years, when they would not hire a person of color to play a role, they would put a white person in blackface and have them play the blackface actor. That's what they did in Hollywood, because Hollywood would not hire a black person. They would put white people in blackface, and that's why it became so taboo. Like, wait a minute, you're not gonna give a person of color a job, you're gonna put a white, and that's how it became taboo. Yet Hollywood is still putting cis people in trans roles. So I'm curious, how much is tone and intent to, before we cancel someone, like, oh, you did it, you're done, you're fired? Or are they trying to do a message, or do they not realize how?
So may I?
Go ahead.
May I? Oh. So I want to say, actually, Misty, there actually goes back a little bit further than that, because minstrel shows, when slaves were actually put on in front of their plantation owners to entertain them. And so once slavery ended, how do they continue that form of entertaining? Well, they can't hire a slave because they're not going to pay them. So they form these minstrel shows and have people be characters put on a show in blackface. So all of that within itself is wrong, period. But as far as tone and intent, as Powers mentioned, that show was really educational, because they set it up with the tone, meaning that it was a mud mess. It was about beauty treatments. It was all that. It didn't become a learning opportunity until the aunts came in, the mother came in, and they said, oh, Lord. And had you not been informed, you would have missed that whole entire option, where they were going and why. And it was Sophia that brought it in. And then they closed it out with tolerance, understanding, and acceptance. So I do agree with you that just like you, I'm a certain age, and so I've been in situations where a Caucasian man, I'm the only person of color that works there, and a Caucasian man, I say, well, how are they treating you? Well, again, my first instinct is, taking you literally, how are they supposed to treat me? And that's why I think this call-out culture should be based on education. If it was a simple misunderstanding, cool. However, if the intent was to do harm, i.e. that anchor woman, horrible, call it out, cancel it, because you should know better. As Josie mentioned, we're in a time of education.
Elimination, allow me to all of you ask the question. As the only white privileged face in this circle of 6 faces, let me ask all of you, in challenging what Misty just said, coming from the trans representative of talking about intent, what the intent of the words are. In just a yes or no, I only want to please hear a yes or no. We have Latin from Mexico, we have 2 black men, we have a Filipino lesbian woman, and of course the trans woman has...
Puerto Rican Italian.
Yeah, okay, but all right, so the point is we've got lots and lots and lots here. Do you all agree with the observation from Misty that the intent is the most important, the intent of the words is the most important thing? Do you agree with her observation, yes or no?
I don't. I believe that it. I believe that it comes in. It plays a factor, but I don't believe it's the most important. No.
And Aaron, do you think yes or no?
Yeah, same. I think it's an important factor, but definitely not the most important. There's a phrase: impact over intent. So you may have not meant to do harm. You may not have meant to perpetuate these ideals in our society, but you did. And so you have to be self-aware, and you have to be aware of the impact that you are making, regardless of your intent.
That's right.
Like power,
I agree with
I think it's important, but I don't think it's the whole conversation.
And how about elimination?
Yes, I totally agree with the panel. It's important, but it doesn't stop there. It has to be a little bit more before you can kind of go there. So I totally agree with the panel.
Let me take this.
And to say to Misty's defense, Misty said that she takes into consideration tone and intent. Misty did not say that he thinks it's the most important. Correct, Misty?
Did you just say that I appropriated her words? Is that what
Exactly.
I agree.
Let me take
Al
this.
is being Al.
Right. Let me take this one step farther. This week it was announced that the Woodrow Wilson School was going to likely drop the name Woodrow Wilson. Woodrow Wilson, for let's say the white community broadly, was the leadership of World War I in terms of saving the world, in percentage, the devastation of World War I. And the Woodrow Wilson School at the university that it represents was a pinnacle educational flag in the United States and the world. What did y'all think about their announcement that in the cancellation culture, we're going to get rid of the association with Woodrow Wilson, President of the United States?
I think it's really important to note here that in all world leaders, we have things that work and things that don't work. I mean, even Hitler, okay, I will say this, there were some things about his methodology and his ideology that worked. His overall approach did not work. The same thing happens with Woodrow Wilson. Now, we have to consider as a society, what are we going to remember? And if the good outweighs the bad, then I think they need to stay. But if it tarnishes our history, or it stays as a reminder for us never to go back, I am a firm believer of history and the education around history. The only way we learn is if we continue to understand our past and our past mistakes. So, this is a tough conversation for me, and I think there's no easy answer for it.
Anything else on my observation about Woodrow Wilson and dropping the name associated with one of the most respected schools in the world?
I would add to Josie's point that I think, and even Woodrow, and even as we look at global situations, where the school is located, what is that doing to the students? What messages is it sending? I do agree history is very important, and we do need to teach history. However, for example, I would not want to go to a school that had the name of Bull Connor. What did Bull Connor do? What did he symbolize? Yeah, he had his good points for the Southerners, but he had his horrible points for people of color. So it's all about, what are we teaching the young people? What are we teaching that community? Are they being valued? Are they being triggered? Are they being harmed? And if that's the case, then yeah, we might need to rethink it. Because why was it put there in the first place?
Well, it's a complex conversation. I know we're going to continue to revisit this conversation. I want to do a quick, before we move out of this topic, we're out of this topic, but I want to close this topic by doing another quick flash poll, because I'm curious of what the different faces sitting around mine, which is different than all of yours. I'm curious in another flash poll of yes or no. With what we have watched in the last 6 weeks, definitely since the Floyd murder by the police, and what we have seen in America, do you think we have finally made a turn, not got there, but we have finally made a turn to propel permanent change in America? Have we made that turn yet? Yes or no? Power, what do you think? Yes or no, please?
I'd like to say yes.
Aaron, what do you think?
I think we've made a turn, and I don't think it's the first we've made, and I don't think it'll be the last.
Okay. And elimination, have we made the turn finally in this last 6 weeks?
I want to say the blinker is on, but since I got to say yes or no, yes, we made a turn. But I really believe the blinker is on. We haven't fully made the turn yet.
So we haven't exited off onto the ramp that we want to get to. I got it.
And got off I-95.
Yeah. And Chef Josie, what do you think? Yes or no?
I believe that, yes, we have made a turn. It's not the final turn.
And Misty, what do you think?
We're thinking about getting off the expressway, but we haven't even gotten into the exit lane yet.
I love It's Happening Out. I love the people that participate. I can ask a straightforward question, and what a brilliant degree of answers we just got. I love it. I absolutely, honestly
1 mile. Think about turning.
All right, as we move out of this topic, I want to thank Best Western at I-95 here in South Florida. They're our host and sponsor. And when opening and you begin to travel back to South Florida, they're very close here to Wilton Drive and Wilton Manors in the heart of Fort Lauderdale, and it's a place that you want to stay. We also want to tell you that we're broadcasting from our permanent set in the middle of the World AIDS Museum and Education Center, right here on the heart of Wilton Drive and Wilton Manors in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We coined the phrase, and it is so true. We are broadcasting from the gayest place on planet Earth, and as I look around the pictures around mine, I'm the straight one in the picture.
I'm straight out. I'm not a lesbian. No offense, Josie. I'm very much a heterosexual woman.
Yes.
I don't care
We're in
how
trouble.
you say that. You can roll your eyes all day long, but I am not a lesbian. I am a woman.
Keep
and
selling
I'm
that.
Strictly dickly.
Broadway is closed, Misty. Broadway is closed. All right. Also, we want to thank our set.
The first thing I think of is Pink Paisley.
Right. We also want to thank Concepto Modern Living, our who has helped us create this set here in the World AIDS Museum. All right, let's move on. We always say that our production team, they're kind of geekish, to be honest with you, and they pay, oh, we like that, we do. They pay attention to many things that I find very interesting. And we call this next segment the best thing of the week. And often we find and bring to your attention things that kind of brighten up your week of what we have seen. And tonight we are bringing you a segment of Best Thing of the Week called, and it's about us. Have you heard of problematic gays? Watch this.
So that's why I'm not allowed back a revolver.
Because the video of you saying you had sex there?
Yeah, they said it was tacky. Oh, God.
No, it's okay. You'll find another club to at, maybe rage.
No, it's not that. It's that guy Trevor over there. He's a friend of a friend, and he's your typical fit WeHo gay who doesn't go east of La Brea. He thinks the world revolves around clubbing, CrossFit, and himself.
Interesting.
And he's been making some real whack-ass tone-deaf Instagram posts lately.
About what?
Everything. The pandemic, protests, social distancing, even drag race.
Ugh.
How you guys doing?
You're a dumb gay person.
Wise words.
Excuse me?
Your Instagram post has just been making my blood boil.
Oh, you saw the post with the candy cane.
What you doing with a candy cane in the middle of June?
You'll have to pay $9.
No.
Yeah, I was in Florida, a huge gay pool party called the Slut Zone. It was great. There were over 200 gay sluts doing body shots, beer pong.
And spread virus.
It's Florida. Everything's open there. Their state slogan is, do whatever you want. You do you. We don't care. We don't care.
Other things are going on. Get out of your WeHo bubble.
I am. I'm going to Fire Island this weekend so I can get away from the chaos and rallies.
Oh, so you inconvenienced about people fighting for change.
Have you forgotten that you're a part of a marginalized group of people?
Well, when the majority of the people you hang around with are gay men, I guess it's okay to forget about the other groups in the world.
I went to a march already. Look at my Instagram.
Oh, you mean the post with all the Instagram filters where protesters intercut with you taking your shirt off and you with booty shorts?
Yeah.
Now that's tacky. You have over 200,000 Instagram followers. You should be using that power and that platform to educate people to raise money.
So you think you're doing everything perfectly, Michael?
No, I don't think that, but I feel like I'm trying my best.
Well, look, you're both not doing it perfectly correct. Some of y'all doing it worse than others. It's there, but for sure, stop posting shirtless pics with Black Lives Matter signage. It's not about you. And Michael, cool it on the intensity. We get it. Gay people irritate you.
They can. Get out of my park.
Fine.
And no slow-mo. So, what he did with that candy cane?
He sat on it.
Tacky.
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 It was one of those little ones.
Tacky.
Well, that is the best thing of the week called problematic gay. Wait a minute. Did they just say, sitting in West Hollywood, that us LGBTers in Fort Lauderdale, do whatever you want, we don't care, we don't care.
That's exactly what was said.
Oh, wait.
That's Ron DeSantis' coronavirus plan.
Send this message to him so he
Yes,
sees
exactly.
it.
So what did y'all think? Are we problematic gays? Black Lives Matter? If I put a shirt on that says whatever.
That says what? What is whatever?
Problematic. Am I a problematic gay?
Are you,
Giving y'all the
Al?
opportunity.
Come on, Al. Self-awareness. Remember we talked about this.
All right. I guess that's the best.
You know what? I just want to say, though, shouts out to all the gays who blocked me in 2017 because I'm a reverse racist, but now have Black Lives Matter filters over their profile pictures. Just saying, hashtag relatable.
Hashtag relatable.
That's
really?
it. I'm using that. Okay, I'm using that.
All right. We're all stealing that, by the way. It's not going to be yours by tomorrow. All right. Let's move on to a segment that we call What's on Your Mind. Each host is going to tell us in just 30 seconds. Elimination, you get 30 seconds. Did you hear me? 30 seconds.
30.
What is important to them this week? We're going to ask each, in terms of kind of touching base, what was important to them in the last week, and therefore, what's on your mind? Elimination, let's start with you. What's on your mind this week?
Well, 30 seconds. Well, first, the show tomorrow. I'm so excited. I can't wait to share knowledge with my colleagues, get my voice out there, have some opinions, share some things with the world. And then finally, I would say the turn that you did mention that you kind of stumbled on, that we're finally talking about conversations to defund, to rethink, to regroup, to make sure that all citizens are going to be equal regardless of color, gender, sexual orientation. I think it's time that we make that change. It's time to turn that curve.
Excellent. And Power, let's come to you next. What's on your mind this week?
Well, what's on my mind is the fact that I find it ironic that for years, Black women have been labeled angry, the angry Black woman. But now, as it turns out, it's white women that are having to carry that label as Karens. And I just think it's karma, and I just think it's fabulous.
Karens. I love that.
I thought he said cannons.
No, he said Karens. I heard it loud and clear. And Aaron, what's on your mind this week? Aaron Phoenix.
On my mind this week, I think there's a lot of confusion or uncertainty around what it means to defund the police. We're hearing a lot about defunding the police. And, people think that means that it's just going to be chaos and people, there's going to be violent crime happening and no one to check it. That's not what that means. Defunding the police basically is about a reallocation of resources, right? So we've got, $200 billion or so per year that local governments spend on police, and only 4% of those resources are going to violent crime. So we could be reallocating those billions and billions of dollars to unarmed mental health first responders, to food and work resources, to different ways that we can build up communities that lead people into these desperate situations that lead to crime. There are things that we could be doing to, put unarmed officers in charge of patrolling highways and things like that. There are so many different ways that we could be using that money better. Just revisit our budget.
All right, very good. And let's come into studio. Misty Eyez, what's on your mind this week?
Yeah, to comment real quick on what Aaron just said, reallocating funds. For example, the fire departments in Florida are 90% voluntary. They should be funded. So commenting on that. What's on my personal mind? COVID-19. Florida is one of the 4 states that are skyrocketing. Nobody's talking about numbers right now, but Holy Cross just shut down all the elective surgeries. If you need your knee fixed or you broke an elbow, you can't go in there and fix it because all the beds are being used by COVID-19 right now. We're not talking about it, but it is real, and we are in the middle of a pandemic.
And finally, last but not least, what's on your mind, Chef Josie?
Listen, guys, what's on my mind is possibility. I know we're in the middle of a pandemic and it seems like doom and gloom is all we hear each and every day. But I just want to share with you this experience of mine, being open to possibility and all the gifts and all the blessings that show up even in the darkest of hours. Guys, we get to focus our energy on what it is we're creating as opposed to the things that are like bringing us down. Because the more we focus our mind on those things that are bringing us down, we're actually creating it and manifesting it. So I invite you guys to start focusing on what it is you want to create, and also stay open. Do your best. Practice being open to possibility.
It's such a great observation. I'm glad you shared that in terms of what's on your mind, because I have to say, exactly like I said at the top of the show, in terms of why I really liked what y'all said so much, I'm fighting depression. And I recognize now I'm in full fight of depression. And the reason I'm fighting depression is not because I'm normally depressive, but I'm fighting the world around me that is creeping into my world in every possible way. And I've got to find a way to fight and defeat it. And unfortunately, I'm only in the working on it stages. Let's move out of what's on our minds this week by talking about tonight at It's Happening Out, exploring a hot topic that we want to explore. We are watching across the country protesters, including in the LGBT community, tearing down monuments that they believe are racist. The fight for our country's freedom was started when an unarmed black teenager was killed by British authorities. Is this an echo of the past? Does it give us hope for the future? And our question is the movement to tear down our monuments from the past destroying our history or helping us to move on? What do y'all think about what we're watching around America?
I think this idea that because people want to tear down monuments that, first of all, most of which were erected not during the time that these supposedly great people lived, but actually in the Jim Crow era to intimidate and to oppress black people. It's amazing to think that if you tear down these monuments, all of a sudden history is going to be erased. No, bitch, we still gonna remember. We still gonna remember. It's still gonna be history. People tore down the Berlin Wall, and guess what? We remember that too, don't we? But they tore that down. So you don't need to erect a monument in celebration of something that was evil and something that persecuted a whole race or a group of people, to be able to learn about the mistakes of the past and to be able to remember that history. You just don't. It's one thing to remember history. It's another thing to celebrate wrong, and that's what we're doing when we continue to keep these monuments up. They need to be torn down.
Literally exactly
Absolutely.
took the words right out of my mouth. And while we're at it, let's get Andrew Jackson off our money too.
Well, I say tear them down, tear them down, tear them down. And to answer your question, yes, well, we're not erasing history, because if you go to any textbook, if you go anywhere, the history is there in black and white. But we do not need to continue to celebrate and honor people who have done harm to those who are Americans. We do not need to hold them on such a pedestal. We have museums for that. Go to the internet. If you want to visit, you want to see, you want to learn. Let's make it show that this land is truly a free, and every person, and not man, because again, the four founders purposely only picked a man. They didn't pick people of color. They didn't select out women. So let's make sure that every person feels comfortable everywhere in this country. So therefore, tear all that stuff down and let's start over. It's time to now make the platform equal across the board.
Let me reframe your observations slightly. President Trump has advocated making it a criminal offense to pull down monuments in Washington and other places, and it looks like he is going to aggressively accomplish what he wants. Why isn't his observation that you can protest but you can't destroy property a reasonable position from the president's standpoint? It's reasonable not to destroy our monuments. You can protest, you can advocate for change, but you can't destroy.
Listen, guys. Okay, the reality of this is this. Okay, when we're and I don't agree with Donald Trump. Okay, let's make that very clear. Okay, and I do agree with my digital brothers. Okay, however, we can't be ravaging cities. Okay, I don't agree that Donald Trump has the right to enforce these hard fines or whatever to attack the people who are tearing these down. I believe that these monuments definitely need to be brought down because we are right now in a new moment and we are creating a world that is equitable for all people, and those statues do not represent that equity for all people. That being said, there are the right channels for us to do this, and I'm a firm believer for us to stay the course and do this in a way that is civilized. If we drop down to a level, what is it that Obama says, Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high.
Other thoughts?
Go ahead,
Power. So I want to say I get the point of going high and versus low, but we've had all this time, and the reason that Donald Trump is supporting not taking this, because look at Donald Trump's fan base. He is truly living his truth, meaning that he wants to continue to hold those harmful images in all of our faces, and so therefore it's okay for him to want to support that. And so what we need to now do is elect those. Now we all need to vote. Get him out and get proper officials, mayors and governors in place that can then move those statues, move those monuments down. We've been waiting for how many years? This stuff has never, we've been fighting. Sometimes pushing the hand will get the answers and the things that we deserve. So what he's doing now is only keeping his fan base happy so that we can hopefully, in his mind, get the opportunity to be reelected in November.
Power, hold on just one sec. Elimination gives me the opportunity to add another wrinkle to this conversation. Elimination just said that the president has a core philosophy. That's what I just heard you say. He has a core philosophy that Elimination believes is racist and that it's pushed out in multiple different ways. It gives me the opportunity to bring up the most topical story in the world today. I watched live as the mayor of New York announced, Mayor de Blasio, that coming later this week, they were going to paint Fifth Avenue by saying Black Lives Matter. And where they had chosen to paint Fifth Avenue, which was shocking enough, was in front of Trump Tower. And the president has tweeted aggressively today. And one of his tweets that we reported on Q News tonight, you must tune into Q News tonight if you're interested in LGBTQ news on a daily basis. One of his tweets basically said that hashtag Black Lives Matter is a hate speech.
I don't get it.
Which is exactly what Elimination just said. So is it painting Black Lives Matter on Fifth Avenue in front of Trump Tower? He talked about wealthy residents in that neighborhood of New York. Is it hate speech? Are you committing hate speech in this conversation to large portions of the American public?
Yes, it is hate speech. Yeah, it's hate speech. It's hate speech to a racist. It's hate speech to a racist.
Well said.
So of course it's going to be hate speech to him. Of course it's going to be hate speech to the Ku Klux Klan.
How incredible that saying that a group of people's lives matter is actually so threatening to somebody that they would actually feel that it was an attack against them. I mean, that right there really spells out kind of where we're at and why we are where we are in our society today. Because there is a group of people in our society who believes that it is an affront to them and their status to actually consider for a moment that other people's lives matter as much as their own.
You know, black people.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I find it amazing that, you know, the priorities here, we already know Donald Trump's priorities are fucked up. But I find it amazing that we can prioritize criminalizing, tearing down these monuments and destroying property, but we couldn't pass a bill, an anti-lynching bill. You know what I mean? We can criminalize destroying pieces of rock, but we can't criminalize lynching people. This is, I mean, all of the things that we already knew about Donald Trump being a racist and perpetuating white supremacy, the cover is just being blown off of all of it.
President Obama,
ain't no cover being blown off for me, because I already knew he was
Absolutely
a racist.
not.
I've been done told everybody he was a racist. This is just yet another thing in the string of racist shit that he does that proves that he is. But I mean, let's just, first of all, when the United States went over to Iraq and they took out Saddam Hussein, and the people tore down his statue. I don't remember a tweet or I don't remember a public statement from Donald Trump saying he had an issue with that. It was all well and good for them to tear down that monument, right? So he didn't have a problem with people tearing down a monument that they believed was oppressive to them, because in Donald Trump's mind, it was oppressive to him as well. It stood for something evil. But when black people want to take down monuments in this country that are oppressive to them or hurtful to them, he is on the other side of that, because he's unable to feel that pain. And I find it very interesting that right now, in an era of a pandemic and Russians who have put a bounty on U.S. soldiers' heads, Donald Trump chooses to prioritize trying to find whoever the fuck threw some red paint on the George Washington statue, instead of trying to find out or hold Russia accountable for the fact that they killed and had bounties on U.S. soldiers' heads. He has stayed quiet like a fucking church mouse pissing on cotton throughout this entire conversation and this entire movement. Now, weeks after, now he wants to chime in just to protect monuments. He ain't had nothing to say about the people that were protesting, except to spray chemical agents in their eyes as he walked across a street to hold up a Bible where he couldn't even find Genesis if you asked him to find that. But now all of a sudden he wants to have something to say about racial issues, and it only once again comes down on the side of white supremacists and Nazis. You have to understand, Donald Trump is a racist.
Allow me to add an additional wrinkle to our conversation. First off, to what Power just said, I cannot imagine New York City 10 years ago, in the heart of President Barack Obama, saying that they were going to paint Fifth Avenue with Black Lives Matter. It's impossible. That is impossible. The news today that we are watching is impossible in any other world. So we're watching something that is unique in American history. Now, let me roll into the observation that all of you are making, that I'm challenging you of the what-ifs on President Trump. We reported on Q News Tonight this week that a new survey shows that 4 out of 5 in the LGBT community support Joe Biden. But more importantly, 1 out of 5 in the LGBT community say Donald Trump is okay, and they're going to vote for him. Given this conversation, now moving it out of a black or other minority community conversation, specifically in LGBT, why is 1 out of every 5 of us still saying he's okay? Why is this happening?
Because 1 of every 5 of us is that much of a racist still, you know. And I said I said this when he got elected, that, you know, the reason that there's a huge percentage of our community of gay white men who vote for Trump and who vote for these conservative, anti-gay even values is because they are white men, full stop. And along with that come all of the racism and all the racial biases that they carry with them. Period, point blank, the end. And that's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing a reflection of. I'll say it again. Our community will continue to have a problem with racism as long as white people continue to have a problem with racism, and as long as there continue to be white people who are gay.
Let's go ahead and just add to this. Let's go ahead and just add to this, okay? Because it's important to be said. We can paint as many streets as we want as a gay community. We can have 1 in 5 who believe Trump is the savior. We can believe that 4 out of 5 people will vote blue in November. The reality is it doesn't even matter if we're not willing to actually make policy that addresses why people are taking to the streets right now, why people are dying right now, why black men and women and trans women are dying right now.
Yes.
This is the reality of it, guys. And so we can protest, we can paint streets, we can be LGBT in an uproar, and we still need to see real results, and that means policy change.
And elimination, you were going to add?
Yes. So, well, Josie kind of took some of it, but we talked about that 1 out of that 5 because that's his core, and that's as Aaron mentioned. Those are the same ones who will not supporting our siblings and their right to live. Why? Those are the people that's not going to change their supporting all Black Lives Matter. Those are the people that you're not going to see supporting trans rights. Those are the people because they're afraid to come out because of fear of how other people are going to look at them. They're afraid of losing their friends and their family. And as Josie also mentioned too, again, this is why we need to vote, and this is why we need to make policy change because again, go back to history. All men. They left out black men because we were property. They left out our women. They left out so many other people. And until we hold that mirror and hold that one person accountable, why are you still holding on to these untruths and these misnomers? Stop it. Realize where we are today versus where we are 10 years ago to where we were 100 years ago. Force their hand, hold them to that mirror, and make them take a hard look at themselves. And that's his fan base. And those are the people. And even if the hidden ones, out of those 4 others, I bet you there's one that's undecided because he's realizing where his privilege is. It's easier to be gay than take a stand and lose my friends. It's easier to say, all Black Lives Matter because I'm going to lose my group of friends that I hang with, that I party with, I go to that pool party with. It's time to hold them accountable and push policies and get out there and vote.
Well, I want to move out of this topic, but I do want to say before we moved into Saved by the Bell that I don't see this as clearly as y'all see this, because I think what we are watching is a black issue. But it is also a brown issue. It is also a trans issue. It is also a woman's issue. It is also a poverty issue. And until we all, it's religious minority issue. Not anti-religion, but religion, a religious minority. Until we connect all of those dots together and we all stand together and say enough is enough together, we can't get to where we want. And I say this from the standpoint of, I'm not in those boxes. And I'm standing up saying your boxes need to do better together. And my voice says, unite, 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 and you'll get what you want. Because we're going to accomplish that November 3rd, 2020. Please, God. Let's move on to Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell tonight at It's Happening Out is a lightning round of LGBTQ topics in the news this week and other headlines that are important to us. It's only 60 to 90 seconds on each topic, and if our hosts go too far, which likely they will, I'm looking at my arch nemesis Power Infiniti as I speak. I hope I can catch him at 60 seconds or 90 seconds in mid-syllable, because that's what he's going to hear. It's a highlight of my week. It's a highlight of my week.
Why don't you guys just call each other?
All right. Wow. All right.
And I thought it was going to be me. That's funny.
Oh, elimination. Yeah. This week, you just don't even stand a chance because my eyes are going to be peeled onto Power Infiniti. All right, so let's begin. Saved by the Bell. Topic number 1. Story number 1. The Stonewall Inn announced that they were going to do a crowdfunding campaign to help prevent stopping them to closing forever. And it worked. But it really drew attention to our gay culture of our bars. Gay LGBTQ bars are under attack everywhere in America. What do y'all think?
I just got a little lost there and homesick just watching the the landscape there of my first Pride. And that's really what comes to mind when I see this headline, is that, you know, this is the place where my participation in the gay, queer, LGBT movement started. And it's a national landmark for our community for a reason. So, you know, I mean, unfortunately, though, it's going through the same thing that every business is going through, especially gay businesses right now, or LGBT businesses. And that's that we're in unprecedented times and, you know, a smashed economy. So hopefully we come together and save, you know, and save these places. But time will tell.
Where is the 16-year-old? Go ahead. Sorry, Elimination.
If President Obama made that a national monument, why isn't Donald Trump saying, hey, let's protect that national monument? Where's that at? He's worried about a statue.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Gay bars are under attack across America in terms of, in terms of the dwindling number. Social media has really played a factor into that. But I think something that Al and I had discussed today, actually we did call each other today, and something that Al had said was, with regards to business, every business needs to change, needs to grow, needs to evolve, needs to adapt. We were talking about that in terms of it's happening out. But the same applies for bars and the club scene. We are an ever-changing social culture. And so as gays become more mainstream, I think it's more important that bars change the way that they promote so that it is more inclusive, more metrosexual, more everybody sexual than just being gay. I think that would really help to really advance.
I only cut off one of his words. All right, let's move on to story number 2. The Georgia General Assembly this week passed historic LGBT inclusive hate crimes bill. What did y'all think?
It's beautiful.
I mean, it's really. Go ahead, you.
Aaron, you start.
Go ahead, I'm done. I was done. I mean, thanks, but let's move on. We got more work to do. Always more work to do.
Hey, listen, and me as the optimist on the panel, I'm going to tell you this. It's nice to see that we're moving forward, even in the middle of the darkness, guys.
But we're not done.
No.
We still need more.
Absolutely
Thank you.
not.
Now let's
Hashtag
go to
we've
the
been
next.
new.
Next. What's next?
All right.
I revealed on Q News tonight this week, I had a very heavy Southern accent, and it came out. I worked very hard to get rid of it, and I did my Southern accent. I'm a die-in-the-wool Confederate Southerner, not a racist Southerner. And Georgia's move is important for all of us because, let's face it, the South is racist, and we have come to it the last and the slowest. So Georgia's move was big news because it's going to force Tennessee and Mississippi and Alabama and South Carolina and North Carolina to follow suit because the world is watching.
Shout out to Mississippi too for they removed their Confederate flags from their from their state.
Exactly. All right.
Yes.
Sorry.
90 minutes.
Sorry. Question, or rather, story number 3 in Saved by the Bell. The FCC announced a green light of a plan for a 988 national suicide prevention hotline that will dramatically affect the LGBTQ community.
What a great idea. We're facing right now a 40% increase of suicidal thoughts and depression. We're 1 in 4 Americans are unemployed in this moment. We are wondering how we're going to pay the rent where the landlords continue to come knocking on the door, how we're going to pay groceries, how we're going to take care of our kids, how are we going to live right now. And this is the reality, and people are considering giving up as opposed to pushing forward. 988 is important.
This is major.
Well, let's tie this into another current relevant topic too. The the large majority, or a large percentage, I should say, of people who are killed by police were calling or had people call for them when they were in distress and when they were in mental health crisis. So this is a one step towards an alternative way that we can as a community, that we can basically make a difference in this area without involving the police, who are not trained in mental health services, and who, we all know how their interactions end up.
All right, we move on to story number 4 in Saved by the Bell this week. LGBTQ activists used drones to remake Soviet monument in Kiev. And the story here, as we're showing you in video, they, against state policy, turned the monument into something completely new. What did y'all think?
It's a matter of giving people pride and giving people, while they're stuck at home, a sense of belonging, a sense of acceptance, a sense of worth. And as Josie mentioned, I will give you that positive moment here. That gave everyone an opportunity to say, I do matter, I do exist. Although there's all this world around me may be crumbling, I still look good, I still belong, I still have a place.
Well, and is this legal in Kiev for them to even fly the region?
Illegal.
I think so. Yeah, so this is a much bigger deal than... Go ahead, Power.
Well, this goes back to what we were discussing about a week ago or whatever, about how do we feel about pride in this COVID era, But, this goes to show that no matter what happens, that's one thing I love about our community, honey. You are not going to keep us down. You are not going to keep us down no matter what. We are going to show our colors. We are going to celebrate. We're going to love, live, and laugh no matter what you do, and work for them.
I think this is beautiful. Even in a hateful country like Russia, where it's illegal.
Ukraine.
Which used to be Russia.
Right.
Used to be Russia. USSR, Ukraine. It's showing that you are not alone. And if you are in that country and you're struggling and afraid for your life, you're not alone. And there are other people willing to risk their life to put up a flag for you.
It was a very motivating image. This image we're showing you is very motivating. So we move on to story number 5 this week in Saved by the Bell, in reporting that California stopped all sponsored travel to the state of Idaho in response to the anti-trans law that Idaho passed.
Who was traveling to Idaho anyway, though, really?
Potatoes, man. Potatoes.
Like the college basketball teams looking for funding to go to compete against another college basketball in Idaho. It's much more than you'd think.
Yeah, of course.
It's solidarity.
That's what this story really comes down to, is that it's no longer going to be profitable to be hateful, period, the end. It's going to take a long time before we get there, but we're enforcing it one bigot at a time.
It's called $56 billion yesterday lost at Facebook for the exact same reason.
Boom.
Other thoughts on California saying no to Idaho?
Well, you just made the point. When you affect people's money, when you hit their pocketbooks, that's when change happens. So hopefully by hitting their pocketbook, they will now realize where they go wrong, turn left, and make their right turn to get back on state so we all can fight those bigots one state at a time.
They don't have to support us enthusiastically. It can be begrudgingly. We don't care. Just give us our rights.
Exactly. All right, we move on to Saved by the Bell story number 6. A revolutionary intersex film, Pony Boy, is now available to watch and is recommended as one of the 10 best films of the year.
Awesome. I can't wait to see this. I just actually heard about it when I looked over our show frame for this week. But the intersex community is specifically within the LGBTQ plus community is such an underrepresented and misunderstood group of people. And they are kind of an overlapping subset of the trans community. So I'm really excited to see any representation for them, let alone, an award-winning film like this.
Any other thoughts on Pony Boy?
Yeah, I agree. It's a good opportunity to educate the world and as a whole about those letters that are often forgot about. Stop putting them in a plus and give them their own a letter and allow people to be educated. And let's welcome them to the table and let's bring them, serve them food with us, have drinks with us, and let's teach.
I'm sure there will be problems with it too, but we'll get to have the conversations from there, and that's, I think,
somebody for the benefit of listeners, viewers that might not know. Just give us a 10 to 15 second, 10-second definition of intersex, please. Somebody do that for us.
It's where basically your biological sex, quote unquote, is somewhere in between what's classified as male or female. So you can be. It's a spectrum, just like gender. Biological sex is also a spectrum. You can fall somewhere in between.
You have the primary sex trait of one gender, that's what you were assigned at birth. The doctor sees either penis or vagina, that's your primary sex trait. But you have secondary sex traits of the other gender. So you might have a penis, but you also might have female ovaries, or you might have a vagina, but you might have male testicles, or you might be a man with breasts, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Got it. All right. So we move into our final topic in Saved by the Bell, story number 7. And this is a good one. In the midst of the catastrophe that's going on in Florida, Texas, Arizona, and California, we found out something very interesting this week. Guess what? Black Lives Matter protests have not, repeat, not led to a spike in COVID cases, mostly because of mask use. What do y'all think?
Wear a fucking mask. It's not that hard. There's literally zero excuse at this point. Zero.
Retweet. We already know that our healthcare sucks. So why we're gonna make sure that we protect ourselves while we're out there in the streets. And so therefore, there it is. That should be learn from the people that you want to subjugate. Learn from us who you want to push aside. Learn from us who've been doing this thing all these years and making it happen regardless of how you put us down. Learn from us. Wear your freaking mask.
That's what they've been doing since. That's what they've been doing since. They had brown and black people build the country for them. So
hey, listen, and don't take it from the radicals. Don't take it from the radicals. Take it from the doctors and the experts who are sharing the information, the facts that back 95% of all cases are avoided and interfered by the use of a mask.
This is not good news.
And shout out
to
the organizers. The organizers were pushing to wear masks.
Okay, this is not good news for Trump and the Trumpanzees. They would love to have seen that cases spiked because of these protests, but sorry, girl, not today.
And we're out of time on Saved by the Bell, but I want to echo and provide an exclamation point on Power's note. I think it is absolutely fantastic that in protest for Black Lives Matter, they turned out not to be Myrtle Beach or Tulsa, Oklahoma for a political rally. Congratulations to the Black Lives movement.
Even in a red state.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue tonight, and as we finish, we move to let's playing another game. And we are going to play Shag, Marry, Chop. We enjoyed Shag, Marry, Chop last week so much. This is a game that asks our host who and why and what. And you all know what we're talking about. We're going to put 3 different people in front of our host. So let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. This week's game is called Sexiest Politicians Around the World. Since Americans are no longer welcome in the European Union tonight, we are banned from Europe as being an American. We thought that we would longingly look around the world of the sexiest politicians around the world, because that's the only way we can get close to them is digitally in our Shag, Marry, Chop game. So tonight, here is our Shag, Marry, Chop choices. First is Eduardo Leite, the governor of Rio Grande do Sul in Brazil. And then Hans Lind, the former leader of Sweden's Ringstad party.
Hi everyone, Representative Brian Sims here at my
I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to do that. And then finally, Brian Sims of the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. So we add one there. Pennsylvania House of Representatives. So let's play Shag, Marry, Chop. Let's start with our digital participation. And since Elimination is with us for the first time, we'll give him the respect. It'll be the last time we give you the respect, sir, of you choosing. So, who would you shag? Eduardo Leite, or Brian Sims?
I would shag Sims.
Brian Sims. How come?
It just seemed like he has a little bit of flavor to him. I like his platform. It seemed like, as we are having a little pillow talk, it'd be good to hear some of his philosophy, but then send him on his way. I don't need him to keep him around for very long.
Okay, and who would you marry?
The guy from
. Eduardo Leite?
Edward Leite.
Why?
Yes.
Why Mary?
He seems like he has a lot of flavor, and I think I could utilize that flavor consistently inside the bedroom. Like, there's a lot of playing that we could possibly do together. That Brazilian, that just, have him speak some Spanish to me, and I could be the good day to give him a good hot dog. It just seems all kinds of exciting. I look at that
I was
beard.
going to say,
hey.
now I know Elimination, but I don't know him that well. And if by flavor he means Brazilian in the truest sense of the word, you're right, dude. You're right.
He wants a turtleneck.
And so Hans is he's out, huh? No Swedes.
Hans has to go. Yeah, he has to go. There was nothing. There was no connection. Nothing there that I saw appealing for me.
Yeah. Wait, are you discriminating against the fair-haired guy?
Not at all. Not at all. I looked really closely, and I really looked in depth in this whole making my decision, and it's all based on who I can rock, whose world I can rock the best.
Yeah. All right. And in which way would you? I'm curious, Elimination. Which way would it be rocked in your rocking? Which?
Well, being the leather guy that I am, there's some restraints around my bed. There's maybe a couple apparatuses that I can utilize. So the goal is to make sure that he never, he always leaves better than he came.
Exactly. Okay, we got it. Speaking of, let's go to the person that would be restrained. Power, jump right into our Shag, Marry, Drop.
Oh, Lord Jesus God.
Well, can I get the three people up again? I don't have them memorized by name. I mean, I can tell you, I will shag the Brazilian.
Eduardo Leite, the governor of Rio Grande do Sul.
Yes,
All right.
I would shag him. Ooh. Yes, obviously. He's cute.
And Hans Linde, the Swedish political leader, or Brian Sims from Pennsylvania?
Brian Sims from Pennsylvania, I would marry. Because did you guys get a load of his foul-mouthed tirade recently?
Yeah.
I mean, that was, he talked about angry sex. That was motherfucking everything.
Yeah. And Hans is gone. He's out. He's chopped.
Oh, definitely. First of all, y'all only gave a picture of him from like the top of his nipple up.
Right.
That ain't cutesy, girl. No, we can shake hands.
And America, I have to translate frequently for Power. I want to make sure that you all understand. The reason he is marrying Brian Sims is Pennsylvania is a swing state on November 3rd. And we need to carry Pennsylvania. And Aaron, who are you going to be shagging tonight? Who's your angry sex partner? I already know this one.
All right. Well, now that Power gave me the tea, the inside tea on Brian Sims and his foul mouth capabilities, I'm gonna have to go ahead and shag Brian Sims for sure. Yeah. As far as who I'm gonna marry, I'm gonna have to marry Eduardo because he walks like he's got the big dick energy, and actually you can see his big dick energy in that shot just a little bit. I'm just saying.
His is literally, being Brazilian is more than just energy, too. There's a plus, energy plus.
I'm going to have to, shouts out to production for that one. That was a good I'm going to have to chop Hans because he looks like Richard Spencer.
Yeah.
And that's not the kind of role playing that I can get into.
Yeah. All right, very good.
And for reference.
And Josie, who are you going to shag?
Oh, come on, guys.
You know.
I'm totally shagging Brian Sims. He looks like one of my ex-boyfriends. And, Power confirmed it for us all. He's got a little extra behind all of that cuteness. Then I'm going to probably, and you guys might be very interested here, but I'm going to marry the Swede, and because I love Sweden. So
wants the meatballs.
And and then I'm going to
IKEA fetish.
Listen, I love IKEA. Okay, just so we know. But I'm going to have to chop Eduardo. Leave him to you guys. I've already been with a Brazilian long enough.
All right, and that is Josie's. And now, how about Misty?
Okay, so I did agree with two of my panelists. First of all, I am going to shag Pennsylvania.
Shagging Pennsylvania.
We're shagging Pennsylvania, honey. He looks like a very butch queen with those huge caterpillar eyebrows, and he looks like he might be open-minded enough to go fish or dish. And I am marrying the straight guy, the only straight guy on our board tonight, because he can get it all night. Plus, Brazilians are usually very open-minded and open to that sort of thing sexually. So I'm going with the straight guy, and I'm a natural blonde, you guys. I was natural blonde. I started to get a little bit browner when I turned 16, but I am not sexually attracted to blonde people. I used to pick on Napoleon all the time and tell him that he was blonde, and he was not my type because he thought everyone was in love with him. So the blonde is out.
All right. All right. Well, that's our game Shag, Marry, Chop. I just happened to tell, I have lots and lots of friends. I'm just telling you, it begins, the middle is, and it ends in Brazilian. I'm just telling you. It does.
You're chopping Brazil?
No. Before we end the show tonight, we want to remind you about our sponsor. I'm going to do a really good job tonight of opening the box. I've been in box opening training all week, and this is Jets and Pizza. I've got to get a new gig. That's all there is to it. They're here in South Florida. They're great. If you come to South Florida, you want to get it. There's other locations around the country. Detroit-style pizza, and it's fantastic. And we thank them for their sponsorship for our host and production in getting ready for our show. We are going to finish tonight with a goodbye, and we want to allow the host to say goodbye. And we're going to begin with you, Elimination, and we wish you all of the luck in tomorrow night in the launch of Gay Town Hall. Tomorrow night, Thursday, July 2nd at 8 p.m. You're going to be battling with all of those personalities. You've done a great job tonight here at It's Happening Out, and then we thank you very much and give you an opportunity to say goodnight.
Well, thank you, auditor panel. Thank you, Al, for allowing me to be here tonight. It was wonderful. I had a great time. Again, America, join us tomorrow. Can't wait to hear from you, see us, watch the amazing talent that we have waiting for you. And goodbye, panelists. I miss you all. I can't wait to hug you.
And your partner in crime at Gay Town Hall tomorrow night, and that's going to be Power Infiniti.
Well, good night, children, once again. Seeing the little segment that we did on Ukraine and how they forged bravely forward to really show their pride really makes me, once again, proud to actually live in a country that we can have these discussions and that we can have these discussions openly. So, these topics and these conversations are very important. Make sure to keep on tuning in and turning on every single week for It's Happening Out, and do not forget to turn us on tomorrow for Gay Town Hall at 8 o'clock.
Great. And my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Well, good night, genderfuckers, and all of you who are still trying to figure us genderfuckers out. I promise you're going to get there. I just want to say good night. Thanks for joining the conversation. And remember that we're having these conversations tonight because people tore some shit down. So that's what it takes. And if there was a polite way to protest, it wouldn't be protest. So keep protesting, keep challenging things, keep questioning authority, and keep tuning into It's Happening Out.
Thank you. And to my friend here in studio, who's covering us very, very well at Q News tonight, every night at 7 p.m., Misty Eyez.
Hi. Okay, so my goodbye is what was on my mind. The pandemic is not being talked about so much anymore, but the numbers are incredibly high. Crazy, crazy high. Please respect yourself, protect yourself, stay home when possible, and wear a mask when you can't.
And to my friend running for mayor of Wilton Manors, Florida, the gayest place on planet Earth, my friend Chef Josie.
Good night, troopers. You guys are doing a great job out there adapting. I know that this is hard. It's not what we're used to. I know that you're a little uncomfortable right now and maybe a lot uncomfortable, but we're going to get through this. This too shall pass. So stay healthy, stay safe, and stay positive. See you next week.
You know, America, we are finishing the first 6 months of 2020.
Yeah.
Today is the first day of the second half of the year. On New Year's Eve, I hosted a party with Napoleon Plays with many of the people in this room. It was impossible to envision that on July 1st, 6 months later, this is where we would be. It's been terrible. Period. Terrible. I have learned so much in the first 4 months in almost quarantine in COVID-19. I have learned so much in the last 2 months in what we have seen in protest in America. So in many ways, I find conversation tonight at It's Happening Out very refreshing and reinvigorating for me. Because in 2 of these most devastating moments, COVID and racism in America, I find the people around me that were at my New Year's Eve party 6 months ago to this day, tonight, to say, I still believe in America. That is so hard to do. I am so proud of Happening Out, It's Happening Out, Q News Tonight. I know these 2 men and the others participating tomorrow night in Gay Town Hall are going to make me proud of the LGBT community. We are diverse and we are going to survive this. The proof. Last week at It's Happening Out, 130,000 of you watched, not in Facebook, but in YouTube. You had to choose. Things are going great. And they're going great because 130,000 of you believed exactly like the other 5 faces around me right now. There's still an America. And there's still, even with what we just experienced in Pride, there is still pride in the LGBT community. And that makes me proud. We are going to do this every week, even in pandemic, at 8 o'clock on Wednesday nights. So I thank you. And remember, if it's important to you, it's going to continue to be important among all of us, all of these faces that you are looking at right now. It's a passion because it's happening out. Good night, America.